no. Oh, God.
We're standing by, ready when you are.
I was going to say good win, but it was a win.
It was a win. Yeah, it was a win.
You grounded out. How'd you feel about that one, Coach?
Like really proud of our defensive effort to hold any kind of like team to like 61, and I think this team, their room for growth, like at the defensive end of the floor over the last couple of weeks, has really taken it up a notch. And obviously helps with our length and our athleticism when we go with a big lineup with like Nards, Caddy, like Z in there, and we've got some big guards like Jada, Munga, Emmy's even like a big guard. Mon has some size to her, and so I like how we look either way if we can kind of like go a little bit smaller. But I really like the way that we started the game, but also like the length and size, and I think that really causes some teams some issue. But I would say is our ball pressure, our physicality right from the very get-go, and we've had a couple of games where the girls have done a great job really buying into the scout.
You have had a couple of big losses from your team. You already said you were proud of the team, but in terms of the way that they've stepped up to cover those losses for you and still being in the mix for finals, how does that feel?
Yeah, huge. I've said all along when obviously Jade went down and Sarah got her releases, I still had full belief, faith and trust that what we had, and I continue to say probably every day or every game, is we have enough in the locker room right now with who we have. And I still believe like that when Jade and Sarah went down. We have great depth. We've got great people like stepping up, is like Izza and Jada have to step into that point guard role, something that wasn't expected of them at the start of the season, and they've come in and done a terrific job of leading, play calling, getting things like done. So I still, the same thing again, I still believe that, and Nards has obviously been great the last like couple of like weeks and really come into her own, and Caddy's such a beast on the floor as far as athleticism, length, rebounding wise, and I think that we're just starting to find a little bit of like our identity because we've had so many people in and out throughout like the season, as we've come to a place where I think we're just like hopefully humming along right now.
It seemed like for both teams, like coming off the emotional high of Hoops Fest, would have been a different challenge than what both teams would have had to encounter before, and that the quick turnaround, and not only that, like not only the physical toll, but the emotional toll that, like, such a great event like Hoops Fest and then Queen playing game tonight, it definitely looked like the character shone out from your team when it got down to the real crunch time where both teams looked like they were in a position to win the game.
Yeah, and I think, I give credit to like Z for some of that too, is she does a great job of like leading this team, and she can be like emotional, but what she like does do is calm everybody down, and just having her on the floor, there's great trust and belief amongst like the team when you've got someone like her leading us, being able to like make big shots when it happens, but also being able to like play make. I think she does a great job of just being able to keep things like normal and sane around the group.
And for you, Nuts, of course, like it seems like the rotations, now that you know roughly about what kind of team you're going ahead with the rest of the season, with what you've got, and that seems like the players are really comfortable in terms of the rotations that the coaching staff have, and that is that the feeling amongst the playing group as well, where you've got that trust and that ability to play the minutes you do on the floor and everyone playing their role?
Yeah, basically, yeah. I mean, everyone's kind of stepped into their new role and doing a really good job. But yeah, I think we've all got like next man up mentality, which is good, and where everyone's staying consistent with that. But yeah, I think everyone's ready when they get on the floor and do their best, and that was one of our things, giving 110% every time we play for the rest of the season, so we're doing a good job of that.
And for the last couple of games, it's been like Brandon Catasano, for example, and Jada Clark that have really stepped up, played significant quarters and minutes, and it seems like you've got a player that pops up at least once a quarter, and then it just rotates around. So you've got different players that seem to be popping up at the right time. That probably holds you in good stead as you try to fight for that final spot in the top four.
Yeah, it makes our lives easy that everyone else is scoring as well, so we can focus on the other things, I guess. But yeah, it's good. It's good to see them, get that confidence going into the rest of the games, and we need that from them as well. So yeah, it's really good. Like, it's helping the team, it's helping everyone. We get good stops on defense, and then someone's scoring on offense, so it's perfect.
You got anyone online?
Yeah, hey, Paul and Nat. It's just Seb from AAP. Paul, I'll start with you. Obviously, you've got a pretty hard schedule coming up against Townsville and then Wyeth and also Bendigo. How important do you think this win was just to kind of set you up for the the next week or so for you guys?
I think right now any win's important because obviously everyone knows there's a lot of teams still fighting for that fourth spot. So I think every win is important, but it's also kind of like you can talk about the process, but how we prepare, how we turn up every day. And I've said to this group about this road trip is we had a stretch where we played 3 games in 6 days and come out with like all 3 wins. So obviously we dropped the game to Townsville in Perth, but we're expecting to get results, and obviously we've got Bendigo like twice in a row away and at home, and so our thought process is like we're going in there to win those 2 games.
Obviously we've also seen with Jade out, I think Jada has really come in and played and come into her point guard role. How have you kind of found that just from your perspective, and how do you think she's settling in?
Yeah, I think she's done a terrific job. When you're talking about someone being a combo guard and hasn't had to play like a lot of minutes like this season at all. She played some minutes when we take Jade out of the game, but now being in the full-time role and sharing that with like Izza as the point guard, as everyone knows, it's not an easy position to come in and fill. And then your play calling, like you're leading, you got to understand who and when to get the ball to, and obviously we're helping those through, both Jada and Izza through that as playing point guard, and I think that those two are doing a tremendous job for us. Is like we wouldn't be in the position that we are in these last couple of games without those two really stepping up.
Today we kind of saw a lot of the match with like a 10-point deficit is kind of how a lot of the match was played out. Do you feel like you guys could have taken more of a lead, especially in those second, third, and then fourth quarters?
All I will say is 2 words: free throws.
And lastly, obviously you did touch on that. There is kind of a lot of, there is still a lot of talent without Sarah and Jade. But just on Jade, do you feel like the side is missing her kind of in this back end of the season?
My answer is no, but she'll want me to say yes, and she'll want to hear me say yes. So it's no and yes. No, mate, obviously we do. Obviously she's a big part, of our team. But as I've said before, and I've said previous times, is I think we've still got enough in that locker room. We've got enough, talent. We've got enough depth that we can, obviously cover for her. Is it, great having her out? No. Is she a big part of what we do? Yes. But injuries, all of those things happen. And so we just, took the thing. Unfortunately, her and Sarah were out. We got to move on. We got to move on and focus with the 10, 12 people that we have. And so I think the team's done a great job. Will we welcome her back? Probably. But, yeah, we're doing a great job so far.
Awesome. That's all I have. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, Goriss.
Thank you. Thank you.